Self worth is the internal sense of being good enough and deserving of love, respect, and happiness. It's not based on external achievements or validation from others, but rather on how you view and value yourself. It depends on how you view and value yourself. But what if you do not view and value yourself in a good way? Hi, Angel. Welcome to our Evolution Diary podcast with your host, Esther Brody. Our Evolution Diary podcast is basically just my diary where I document how I'm growing and evolving into the best version of myself. And I hope I can bring you on the journey to evolving and growing and also become the best version of yourself. I hope you're here for the long haul. Enjoy. Hi, Angel. Welcome or welcome back to another episode of Evolution Diary Podcast, your safe space for self growth, self discovery, and evolving into your higher self. It's your host, Esther, and I hope you're having a beautiful, wonderful, fantastic day. I hope your day is off to a great start. I hope everything is working in your favor. I just hope you're having a beautiful, wonderful day. Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of the podcast. Today, I'll be talking about self worth. But before we get right into that, there's our question, quote, and affirmation for the week. Our question for the week is in what areas of my life our question for the week is in what areas of my life am I still seeking validation from others instead of affirming my own worth? Our quote for the week is your value does not decrease based on someone's inability to see your worth. And our affirmation for the week is I am worthy of love, respect, and success simply because I exist. So let's go right into today's episode. Hi guys. Like I said, today I'll be talking about self-worth, how it affects you not to have good self-worth, how to have self-worth, like how to trust in yourself, how to believe in yourself, how to increase your self worth, everything and everything. You need to realize that self worth is the foundation of how we show up in the world, how we treat ourselves, and how we allow others to treat us. Your self worth determines so much in life. It determines how you show up, it determines how you allow people to treat you, it determines how you treat yourself, it determines how you pursue your goals, it determines how you show up in the world basically. And it can affect, no, not it can, it affects every single area of your life. When you do not show up as the best and highest version of yourself, when you do not believe in yourself, when you do not trust in yourself. Self worth is the internal sense of being good enough and deserving of love, respect, and happiness. It's not based on external achievements or validation from others, but rather on how you view and value yourself. It depends on how you view and value yourself. But what if you do not view and value yourself in a good way? What if you are still basing your worth on external validation, on external achievement? What if? I mean, you need to realize that self worth is different from self esteem because self esteem is how you feel about yourself based on actions and accomplishments, while self worth is rooted in your inherent value as a person, regardless of what you achieve. Now, I can only speak for myself as a Christian, and me, I identify as a child of God. Thank you. Now, that being said, I'm inherently worthy. From the moment Jesus died on the cross for me, I have been deemed worthy of every good thing in this world, of every beautiful thing in this world, of having a beautiful life, of having a successful life, of being wealthy, of having good health. It is ingrained in me as a child of God that it is my birthright to be worthy, to have such great belief and trust in myself. So I can't speak for anyone else, but for me as a child of God, that is it. You need to realize that at times we can make mistakes and we can do things that will make us feel less than. We can do things that make us doubt our self worth. Been there, done that. Been there, felt that, in fact. But you realize that you're not defined by your mistakes or your shortcomings. And it took me a long time to realize this and tap back into that inherent self worth that comes from being a child of God. My mistakes do not define me. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. I've made a lot of wrong choices in my life. But even then, so it does not take away from me being worthy, because it is as I was born, I have been called worthy. I've been called good. I'm beautifully and wonderfully made. Now, why is self worth important? Why is having a good sense of self worth important? Having a strong sense of self worth is essential for maintaining good mental health. When you do not trust in yourself, when you do not believe in yourself, a lot of things come crumbling down. A lot of things stop making sense for you. And when you believe in your value, you are more resilient in facing life's challenges. Like I said earlier, I've made a lot of mistakes. And when I allowed these mistakes to define my entire life, define, just be the only thing that defined me as a person, it really affected me in so much ways. I could not show up confidently in any other area of my life at all, because I allowed these mistakes to define me. And it just made me put a stop to the things that made me happy, to the things that filled me up. I was sinking into such a deep level of sadness, and I never want to go back to that. I never want to go back to that. And just now is seeing that I made a mistake. Okay, fine. What do I learn from this mistake? I'm not allowing it to affect my identity as someone that is worthy. And that reason why having a strong sense of self worth is important is knowing your worth helps you to establish healthy boundaries with others. When you see yourself as worthy of having good relationships, you never settle for bad relationships. You never settle for a relationship that is less than, because you know that you are worthy of having a good, beautiful, wonderful life, a beautiful, wonderful relationship. So you can separate yourself from something that is not worth it, something that does not align with the person that you are. Another reason why is when you feel worthy, you are more likely to pursue your goals and dreams without fear of failure, because you know you are worthy of success. You know that inherently success is your birthright as a person, as a child of God. Please. You just know that no matter what, even if this thing does not work out the way it is, in the way you plan to, there is still so much good that comes from it. And even then, you do not allow failure to define you as a person. You need to realize that constantly seeking validation from others can lead to insecurities. And the opinions of others change every time. I think I've spoken about this before. But one thing you should never base your self worth on is the validation of other people. Because one thing that is for sure and two for certain is that people's minds will always change. People always have one thing to say today and another thing to say tomorrow. The standards are always changing, the opinions are always changing, their mind is always changing. But why would you base your self worth? Why would you base your life's worth on a opinion that is going to change tomorrow? Like, no, no, no. People's opinions can change, but your self-worth needs to remain constant. You need to find your validation from within and accept yourself for who you are. Embrace your imperfections, like, regardless of what you think is a bad thing about you, see it as something that makes you different and unique, as long as it's not something terrible, like you're not a terrible person. Embrace yourself as who you are. Accept yourself. Other people might not accept you. Other people might not like what the kind of person that you are. But as long as you're not a terrible person, you're not killing people or harming people or doing something bad, please just accept yourself for who you are and love yourself. Self-love is so important. Self-love is so needed. Just accept and love yourself for who you are. Some barriers to self-worth, to having a high sense of self-worth, is comparison. I talked about this in episode 79 of the episode of the podcast. Episode 79, I talked about comparison and how it affects our confidence. Yes, I think that was it. And comparison, especially now in this social media age, it is a lot. It is a lot. You see a lot of things, you hear a lot of things, and it's so easy to compare yourself to other people. And also past experiences. Like I said, I've made so many mistakes, I've experienced failures, and these negative experiences may make you feel like you are not worthy, may make you feel like you are not good enough. And that's so untrue. Another barrier to self worth is perfectionism. But you will never be perfect. I'm so sorry to break it to you, but you would never be perfect. Nobody is perfect. We all have our flaws. We all have our shortcomings. But as long as we don't allow it to define us, that's what really matters. We don't allow it to be our entire personality. You need to see. I'll get right into that in another episode. But yeah, how to cultivate self worth. Number one, self compassion. Treat yourself with kindness. If you make a mistake, forgive yourself and learn from that mistake. Another one is affirmations. I'm a big affirmations girl. Every month I create a new set of affirmations that I write down and I speak to myself, speak into my life every morning and night. Yeah, keep on speaking those positive words into your life. It's really changes your mindset. Another way is gratitude. Focus on your strengths, focus on your achievements, focus on what makes you unique. Be grateful for them. Don't look at what other people have, look at what you have. Another one is mindfulness. Be present, be aware of your thoughts, of your feelings, of what makes you you. Just focus on your strengths and improve on them. Period. Physical exercises that you can do to improve your sense of self worth. Number one, daily affirmations, and number two, journaling prompts. These ones I get from Pinterest also. My journaling prompts on self worth. I think I did something like that like a year ago. I downloaded an image and I think it was like 15 prompts. So I did it for 15 days on self worth, on improving my self worth, on why do I not have a good sense of self worth, something like that. And daily affirmations, like I said, speaking life into yourself. Another the last practical exercise is visualizing your higher self and how they would feel in that moment. When you are confronted with an issue, visualize how your higher self would react in that moment. How would your higher self react in that moment? Now, in relationships, I mean, we're all in relationships with ourselves, with others, but prevalently, I think this is one of the most talked about topics, having self worth when you're in relationships. How to have good self worth in order to be in the right relationships. I need to realize that your self worth plays a big role in the relationships that you form. When you value yourself, you are more likely to form relationships that honor your values and your boundaries. When you see yourself as worthy of having good, healthy love, you see yourself as someone that is worthy of having the best of the best of the best in life. You do not settle for nonsense relationships. Period. You do not settle for anything less than good, anything less than wonderful, because you treat yourself as wonderful. You see yourself as wonderful. So why would you feel the need to accept anything less than wonderful? Whether it be in romantic relationship, platonic relationship, work relationships, any relationship of any sort. Never settle for less than wonderful. Never settle for anything less than beautiful. Never settle for anything less than great. Like mind blowingly great self. Because you absolutely deserve that. I mean, every relationship has its ups and downs. But why don't we allow the ups to be more than the downs? How about that? Every healthy relationship starts with a healthy sense of self-worth, and self-worth is not something that happens overnight, especially if you are someone that is just trying to start increasing your self-worth. I've been in that position before, and it's a journey. It's a very long journey that it requires patience, it requires self-reflection and self-care. Make sure you're pouring into yourself, make sure you're taking care of yourself. Self worth is about progress, not perfection. And every step that you take towards self acceptance and growth is a victory. You're worthy of everything that you desire, just as you are. As you are, you are worthy of everything that you desire. And I know that sometimes it might feel like the things that you want, you're not deserving of them. But that is the reason why you're not getting the things that you want, because you do not believe that you're deserving of them. Clock it. Now, you need to realize that you are enough just as you are. You deserve love, you deserve happiness, you deserve success. And the more that you believe in your worth, the more that the world will reflect that back to you. What a great episode. Thank you guys so much for listening to today's podcast episode. I'm so grateful and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Give me your feedback. Give me Just tell me what you thought of today's episode. I would love to hear back from you. Every link is in the description, in the show notes. I'm so excited to hear back from you guys. Thank you guys so much for listening. And until next time, keep on evolving. And I'll speak to you guys soon. Bye, guys. Mwah.
Angel, thank you for listening to another episode of our Evolution Diary podcast. I hope you guys had a nice time. Make sure to leave your takeaways and anything that you learned from this episode in the comment section. Or you can DM me on Instagram. Make sure to leave a rating and a review. Every link you need will be in the description box or in the show notes. Thank you so much for listening. I love you so much. Bye. Have a great day. Mwah.